Hi, this is Melanie for the Pardesi channel. This is my second Ask Me Anything video. The last one I did back in October of 2017. So some questions are a repeat, some are new. Hopefully I have found all of the ones that were left to me on Twitter and Facebook and as comments to my 1-year anniversary video. So I started this Pardesi channel as a solo channel at the beginning of August of 2017. And before that I had done some videos on Bali Fool's channel. So that launched me. And here, about a year in, I'm at, I think it's about 8,300 subscribers. So we're closing up on 10,000. And thank you everyone who has been loyal watchers, loyal viewers. So first, Mahesh Gandhi asks, what is your country? I live in a suburb of Chicago. So I live in the United States. I have always lived in the United States. I have never been to India. I dream of going to India, but I have never been. And I have some next door neighbors that are from India, and my suburb has a lot of Desi population, so I have some movie theaters close by where I can see Indian cinema. Ayaz Ali Khan asks, do you think nepotism would be at its peak in the coming years of Bollywood, as we have successful actor kids getting more limelight than someone like Raj Kumar Rao, who had to make his way through? It is going to be an interesting couple of years coming up, isn't it? So we've just had Janvi Kapoor, Sri Devi's daughter, and obviously Shah Rukh Khan's older son and his daughter Karan is chomping at the bit to launch them. Saif Ali Khan's daughter also, I think, is somewhere in the mix. For me, I didn't live through earlier times where we had, Abhishek being launched or whatever. I saw some of his early films and saw that he grew. I have mixed feelings about this whole nepotism thing because you're right. Raj Kumar Rao is extremely talented. I have not seen Funny Khan, but that's an example of he's not a big enough name that he can launch a movie by himself. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but you know what? There's a lot of actors in Hollywood that do independent cinema, and they aren't necessarily the Tom Cruises or whatever of the world. Is it fair for star kids to get chance after chance after chance? I don't know. If Raj Kumar Rao had gotten the Karan Johar treatment, what possibly could have happened? I don't know. He wouldn't be the Raj Kumar Rao, though, that we know and love, right? If he'd been in Student of the Year, I don't know, would he be doing stuff that Varun Dhawan is doing? Just action movies and all sorts of silly stuff? Or is it, he just has an inherent seriousness about him, and yet he's so good at comedy. So I would like there to be more of an audition process and let some talented kids come through. There's got to be so many talented kids. But sometimes star kids, I was listening to Shah Shahid of the Split Screen podcast, and they were really getting into a discussion about this. And he made the point that star kids like Janvi Kapoor are so used to cameras being on them all the time from their childhood that they do have this confidence in front of a camera that is something that is hard to replicate in a brand new actor, right? And so there is just something about them that they are comfortable in front of a camera. And that's something sometimes that you just, maybe they do inherit it. Maybe it's just something that they're used to. I don't know. It just can be an inherent thing. I have mixed feelings about it, but to be honest with you, I'm super excited about seeing Shah Rukh Khan's kids and seeing what they do and seeing what Karan Johar. So I'm in the mix of it too. I'm anxious to see if they have that magic pixie dust that Shah Rukh does, if they've got it. And obviously they're going to get multiple choices to show that they have it, but I hope that they do. It's a lot of pressure. That's the other side of it. It's a lot of pressure, right? It's a family business and you got a lot of pressure to live up to. Okay, Josh L., who has been watching me, I know he's been watching me since the Bali Fool's days. He asked the hardest question of anyone. He says, been watching your vids since Bahubali 2 review on the late Bali Fool's channel. My question to you is, Who would you kiss, marry, or kill? Prabhas, Shah Rukh Khan, or Dulquer Salman? It's a tricky one. That is an understatement, Josh. This shows how much Josh knows me and what a loyal viewer he has been because, yeah, that's impossible. Okay. I can't kill any of them. They're all my darlings. They're all my favorites, and you know that. You know how much I love all of them. Shah Rukh Khan is my first love, but I'm not sure if I would want to be married to him. I guess he would be kiss. I noticed you altered that to make it a little bit more PG-13 from what it usually is. I think, you know, if age was not a barrier because he's much younger than me, I think Dulquer would be such a caring, giving husband. I could imagine being married to Dulquer because he just seems so down to earth and just very loving. Now, I can't kill Prabhas. I'm sorry. Like, I can't. I just can't. I can't. Yeah, but this, you know me very well by picking those three. You made it impossible. Now, if we would show, you know, if we'd thrown somebody else in the mix, like if we'd thrown Salman in the mix or we'd thrown Saif Ali Khan, that would have been easier. They would have been the ones to be killed. We have a question from Shivam Kumar, who asks, Queen, Bahubali, Three Idiots, Dangal, or Bang Bang, which one will be your first pick? I don't know if you mean which one do I love the best of those three, of those five, actually. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think Bahubali is my favorite. It's the entire reason I watched Telugu films, because I was so blown away by the first Bahubali film. But I will tell you, so it's my sister's birthday today, and I actually just bought her the DVD for Three Idiots. She's never watched it. I decided to send her some Bollywood films. I think that's a great one that is just universal. It's just a good film. It's just a good film, and I thought she would really enjoy it. So I sent it to her for her birthday. Bang Bang, when I had a birthday party, and I said, it was a big birthday, I won't say which one, and I had all of my friends over who had never seen a Bollywood movie before, and I just said, I want you to watch this. And we watched Bang Bang because, again, I think it was a good first film to show to a crowd of people, and you know, they were like, oh, you know what I mean, we're terrific, and the whole romance of it, but it also has all the fun action elements. They really enjoyed it. So that's a good first movie to show people. It's one of my favorites. And then Queen and Dangal are both films that I have, when people have said, well, can you recommend any films that I could start with? And I think those are films that anyone can enjoy, and they don't have as many big stop the action song and dance numbers, and so they are really good ones. They're just excellent films, but they're good ones for people who are not familiar with Indian cinema to watch. I don't know if that's what you meant in that question, but that's what I'm telling you, how I feel about all those movies. Champa asked many questions, but here's one of them. Champa Patel said, what are you hoping for the coming good years of your channel? I have really been thinking about this, and I'm not sure. Obviously, I hope for more and more subscribers. What I would really love, if any of you watch Korakan Nala, he was recently able to do some interviews with actors of Breathe. So he was able to interview Amit Saad, the director of the miniseries. He was able to have a long conversation with Madhavan. That would be my dream. Of course, I'd love to meet Shah Rukh Khan someday. I'd love to go to India someday. But short-term goal would be if I reached a certain level where I was able to ask the questions of these actors and filmmakers that I'm dying to ask them. That's what I would just love to be able to do. It's been such an amazing journey in this 1 year. I can't even dream of what possibly could happen 5 years from now or whatever. I've had some wonderful interactions with actors and filmmakers recently on Twitter. Some of you know that Dulquer Salman called me a cutie, and then I made Vanilla Kishore's day this week by telling him that I hooted and hollered when he came on screen during the recent Geeta Govinda movie. I love that, being able to interact with people on the other side of the world and let them know how much I appreciate their films. That's awesome. And if I would be able to do it via Skype or something to do an interview. That would just be my dream. Samantha of Samantha Jo Goes has a whole list of questions. She says, what was your first film after Lagaan? So, Samantha, this was 2001 or 2002 when Lagaan was on DVD. Netflix, then you could only do it via mail. Okay, so picture me watching this movie and then wanting more, but not even knowing how to look, because the search engine for Netflix, it wasn't the same here where it just suggested things for you and you could stream it immediately. The next movie that I watched was Dil Chahta Hai, actually, because it also had Amir Khan, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't understand what the title meant. It just wasn't as easy to, it's hard to imagine how different it was then to try to search for more. It's so much easier now. Even this year, it's so much easier than when I started 4 years ago to find more Indian content. There's just more on Netflix. There's more on Amazon Prime. There's Hotstar now. I know what to look for as well, too. So then Netflix 4 years ago recommended DDLJ, Lawali Dulhania Le Jayenge. And then the next film I saw after that was Rabni Bani Di Jodi, because they had, at that time, another Shah Rukh Khan film. And then, you know, it just went from there. So, and then I'll watch one film like OK Kanmani and see Dulquer Salman, and then I'll search out, well, what else has he done? And then I've even ordered films from India. Like, I ordered a bunch of Malayalam films with Dulquer Salman because I just, like, I wanted more. And I couldn't find them streaming at that time. I know more places to look, fortunately. What is the worst film? So I have watched, I think it's 57 Shah Rukh Khan films. And there are some clunkers in there. But some are so bad they're good. Like Ram Jani. He spends the entire movie with a suit with no shirt. And it's basically angels with dirty faces. Okay. It's like so bad it's good. But the one that I really could not stand was King Uncle, which Shah Rukh Khan plays the younger brother of Jackie Shroff. And about a third of the way into the movie, I realized what it really was an Indian remake of Annie, and a bad one at that. Oh, I really couldn't stand that one. It's not that I have something against Annie, it was bad. So that was one that I watched on DVD. It was one that I like sat in the theater through. But of course I watched it all the way to the end because I had to see the big reconciliation scene at the end. Yeah. So Samantha also wants to know, what is my favorite Indian food? And that would be mango lassi. And I make a pretty mean mango lassi myself. I love that, but also, you had another question if I'd ever been to a Diwali celebration. I have, because I have next door neighbors that are from South India, and they have invited me for the past several years to go to their Diwali, and we have firecrackers, small ones in the driveway, whatever, but she has made pani puri, so I was finally able to taste the snack that Shurek and Anushka Sharma, you know, have this big contest in Rabni Bani Di Jodi. And it was just as good as I imagined. It was so good. I'm trying to eat more and more different kinds of Indian foods, but that was really fun because it's just such a street food, and that she made it for the party, and it was super good. Samantha also wants to know what's my favorite language from the way it sounds. I think Malayalam. And I don't know what it is. It just sounds like music to me. Maybe it's just because I'm usually listening to Dulquer, but I don't know. It just has this musical quality to me. I'm trying to learn Hindi. I'm taking an online course. I want to get a little bit more understanding. And I don't know, you know, if I can branch out into some of the other southern languages, but I just love the way that Malayalam sounds. Similar to the Diwali question, Samantha asked, have I ever celebrated Holi? Not on the day, because February in Chicago is not the kind of time to go out outside, but my town has a festival of colors in April when it's usually much better weather. So here is a picture of me from a year ago, so that should answer your question. Yes, I enthusiastically celebrated it. Favorite film song? I think Malari from Pramam, I could just listen to that song on repeat. And I was so lucky. I went to the Malayalam Film Awards. The North American Film Awards ceremony was in Chicago a year ago. The entire thing was in Malayalam. I didn't understand anything, but I got to hear the singer, Vijay Yehudas, sing Malari live. It was worth it. All of that was worth it just for that moment. It was amazing. Have I ever worn a sari? Yes, but not at an event. It was sort of like a women's party, and someone had brought all of her saris, and we got to try them on, and it was just wonderful because it was just private and I didn't feel self-conscious. But I have worn some other similar kind of, not saris, but other skirts and outfits and whatever for my dance class recitals. Samantha wants to know if I have a plan to come to India. I have a dream to come to India, and of course I want to visit not just Delhi and whatever. I want to visit Kerala. And I would love to go to South India. It just looks so beautiful. I don't have any definitive plans to go there right away. I was invited once to go, and it was lucky with my neighbor, and it was lucky that I didn't go at that particular time because I just couldn't because of family obligations. And that turned out to be when the Chennai was completely flooded. My neighbor was stuck at her parents' house with no power for a week in the floods, so it was a good thing that I did not pick that particular time to go. Both Samantha has asked about my favorite actor and actress, but also Linda Chittapalli asked my favorite Malayalam actress and actor and favorite movie. Okay, so this is difficult. So this is like picking your favorite child. My favorite Hindi, starting with Hindi. My favorite Hindi actor is Shah Rukh Khan. I just love him. I've seen the most of his films. He's the entire reason that I'm so obsessed with Indian cinema because I started watching his films. My favorite actress changes. Sometimes I like Madhuri, but Rani, I just have such an affinity for her. I really love her. I guess my favorite Hindi movie would be Diwali Dulhania Le Jayenge. I've seen it so many times, I can't even count. Tamil cinema, I'm not sure that I have favorites yet, although my favorite director is Mani Ratnam. And my favorite Tamil movie is OK Kanmani. Favorite Telugu actor is Prabhas. And my favorite Telugu film is Bahubali. My favorite Telugu actress is probably Samantha Akkineni. I really like her. She's just, I don't know, she's just got something special about her. And for Malayalam, actor is easy. That's Dulquer Salman is the entire reason that I watch Malayalam film. Mohanlal is the greatest. He is the greatest, but if you say I'm the biggest fan of Dulquer. Actress is difficult, but I think Sai Pallavi, I just admire her so much and her naturalness, and as you know, I love a good Spitfire kind of a character, and she just has something special about her. I mean, there's so many other wonderful actresses, Nazria, Nithya Menon, and so forth. I mean, I admire all of them. I really do. But there's something really special about Sai, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing her work in all the different industries. Oh gosh, favorite film for Malayalam. It's kind of between, I love Bangalore Days. That introduced me to the whole crop of young stars like Niven and Nazria. But I also have a special place in my heart for Om Shanti Oshana. There's just something, I love that film to pieces. It's women focused. I just love it. I love the coffee carrying scene, the whole thing. It's just amazing. I hope they answered that question, but it's really hard for me to pick favorites. From Twitter, we have some other questions. Bali Litsa asks, have you studied film? How do you feel confident commenting on film? I have an engineering degree. I don't have a film studies degree. I audited a film class. I think when I was in high school, there was a college nearby that my father, literally a block away from my house, or half a block, where my father was a professor. one of his professor friends was teaching a film class. So I just went to watch the old classic movies and heard the professor's commentary. Old classics like Citizen Kane and old Hitchcock films and so forth. So I don't have that technical eye to know all the different kind of ways that shots are set up or can really critique that kind of stuff. To me, my hero of a film reviewer is Roger Ebert. And Roger Ebert is also from Chicago critic. Such a loss that he has passed away. But I watched him almost from the beginning here in Chicago. I don't think he studied film either. He studied journalism. He grew up in the town where my university was, University of Illinois, which is in downstate Illinois. And he was editor of the college paper and so forth. And I think he did write some movie reviews when he was in school. But he started in Chicago as a reporter and a feature writer. And I think he gradually became a critic, and his main rival and partner, Gene Siskel, same thing. Started as a reporter and then became a critic. So, it's not like he went to film school. I just watch a lot of movies. Same way Roger Ebert just watched a lot of movies. I keep track on the Letterboxd site. I think I've seen about 400 movies right now in Indian cinema. I've seen the most in Hindi. I know I've seen more Indian films than my next door neighbor who grew up in India. She's just not as into films as I am. I have always been someone that has seen a ton of movies. So to me, what's interesting is how characters are presented on screen, and I'm not so much about the technical details or discussing how shots were set up and whatever. That's not what I'm into. And I don't have the in-depth analysis of someone like Margaret Redlick of Don't Call It Bollywood. She actually does have a degree in film studies and media studies. I'm not as in-depth as that, but I know what I like, and I've seen enough films, and I've followed enough directors and actors' careers that I do feel like I have something to say. So I hope you agree that I do have something to say. I feel sometimes a little strange being an outsider and not completely understanding all the cultural things around the films, but I just love Indian cinema, and I enjoy having this place to talk about it with all of you, because that comes to another question that Alyssa, the Bollywood newbie, asks, do you know anyone in your real life who shares this passion? No, not in my immediate circle, not in my family. We are definitely a family that enjoys going to see films, but my husband, the number of films that I see, I go to the theater to see 3 or 4 films a week, and maybe he sees one once a month. That's the level of difference. But when we go as a family, even to a Marvel movie, we're all discussing it. And my oldest son has a minor in film studies, and we'll break all down the themes and we'll really talk about it. Which actually we did for the Infinity Wars, if you want to watch that, me and Josh. I was lucky because I live in Chicago. Kathy Gibson of Access Bollywood, I've discovered her website, and she actually lives in my town, and frequently we will be at the same showing if we go to the first matinee show for a new Hindi movie. She only watches Hindi movies, but she is someone in my real life that I can talk to about these films. And then Margaret Redlick, we developed an online email conversation when she was working on her master's thesis about non-Indian fans of Bollywood. And we struck up this conversation online, and then we kind of meet in the middle. It's a drive for both of us to this Indian theater that shows Malayalam films and so forth. So occasionally we will meet in real life, and we've gone to, we just went to the Salman Khan concert together. I do have a few people in real life, but not in my everyday, necessarily real life. And that's why I love having this conversation with all of you, because I just love going to a Telugu movie. I feel like I've just found my people who are just as excited, who hoot and holler when their favorite actor comes on. It's just, I enjoy the whole thing. But I still get those looks because, yeah, they're like, you're going to the India movie, right? Yes, I do know. Ahmed asks, do I watch English dubbed or subtitles? I want to hear the original actor's voice, so I always watch with subtitles. For instance, Sacred Games, the Hindi miniseries on Netflix, offered an English dubbed, and I would never want to watch that. I want to hear the actor's own voice. In fact, I got really angry that at first when Bahubali came out on DVD, it was only available with the Hindi dub. It's like, I want to hear Prabhas's own voice. It made me insane. Like, I bought the DVD thinking that there would be an alternate Telugu track, and there wasn't. I was like, ah. So I'm all about hearing the actor himself or herself do the original voice. And I know I'm not getting every word in the subtitles, but I would just rather hear their voice. Sarees asks, can you rank CGI and compare it to Hollywood? I think it's getting better and better. I'm really anxious to see something like Zero, which is going to have so much CGI work. That latest trailer really looked amazing. And again, my friend Matt from Korkan Nala really went in depth in talking about some of the camera angles that they used were the same, like in Lord of the Rings with the hobbits and whatever. But he really talked extensively about how technically good it was, to the point that Red Chilies Entertainment tweeted at him and thanked him for recognizing their work. The budgets just aren't the same as some Hollywood movie, but you know what? I would rather have a story with feeling and emotion rather than watch big CGI robots battle each other any day of the week. And I'll tell you something, I just saw Gudachari, which had, I don't know what the budget would be in American dollars, but I think it was under $1 million. And that movie was so damn good, and you didn't need all the fancy gadgets. You didn't need all the CGI because the script was just good, you know? So I'm anxious to see if they make a sequel. Maybe they will get a better budget and be able to do a little bit more, but it doesn't have to be Mission Impossible level to be a good movie. I realized there were some questions that got stuck in a spam folder by YouTube, so I had missed a couple. And a lot of these were Champa's questions, because I guess because Champa did so many in a row that maybe some of them got stuck in the YouTube spam folder. So sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. Why aren't you a Marvel fan? Why would you say I'm not a Marvel fan? I'm just not reviewing, in general, Hollywood kind of films here on this channel. You can read this. It says Stark Industries. This is definitely a Marvel house. My husband, he has all these props that he bought from the Iron Man movies. So we watch all the Marvel films. This channel, though, is called Pardesi, not Thor, Thor fans or whatever. Have you ever seen a Gujarati movie? I don't think that I have. I don't know. I don't think so. What do you think about Pardesi fans? I am so appreciative. I'm actually kind of amazed that so many people are interested in what I have to say about Indian films, but I'm very grateful for the friendship that I feel that we're developing here, and I love that I have a place to ask questions. If I don't understand something in a movie, I can, as Shahid of Split Screen Podcast said, so you crowdsource? I said, yes. So I crowdsource. If a trailer doesn't have subtitles, I can ask you and usually get a translation. So it's just wonderful for me. I hope I'm giving something to you, but I'm so appreciative. I wish I could meet you in person. Maybe someday I will be able to get to India and do that. I did run into one person who had seen one of my videos at my local theater, and that was kind of wild to be recognized. I'm just very appreciative of all of you and thankful that you spread the word and you let other people know about my channel. This is also Champa. When and how did you get married? What is the filmy story behind it? My husband and I met during a summer job in college. And I guess it's a little bit filmy in that I had a steady boyfriend. I had had the same boyfriend for 2 years, and we were going to be apart for the summer. And so he said, let's be free to date other people. And I was so irked by that. I was so upset that I kind of was determined to find someone to date over the summer. So my husband had never really dated anyone before, and I pounced on him like a tiger. So we were both, I was an engineering major. He was, at that time, an astronomy major, astronomy and astrophysics, and we worked at a physics lab, a particle accelerator called Fermilab here in the Chicago area. And it was a summer job. There was a lot of other kids, college kids our age, working as interns. We had a lot of outings that we did together, and I just pounced on him. He didn't know what happened. But I warned him. I'm like, you're just a summer fling. You're just a summer fling. I'm going back to my boyfriend. Which I did when the summer ended, crushing him. But my husband was very smart. He gave me this beautiful little heart necklace with little diamond chips in it as a going away present. And meanwhile, my regular boyfriend that I went back to just was not shaping up to be the same kind of steadfast and grounded and ready for a serious relationship that my husband Mark was. So we got back together at the next fall break and Thanksgiving. And then our senior year in college, he proposed to me over winter break. So we had this long distance relationship for the last 2 years of school, which is one reason why I am so into watching movies and don't mind watching them by myself, because while my friends would go out on dates with their boyfriends, I had many weekends where I had to do my own thing. It was kind of, I didn't want to be the third wheel with other people. So I would go to, our university had inexpensive, like for $1 or $2, classic movies, all different kinds of movies. And so I would just go to the movies by myself, and while we were dating and going to school apart. So we will have been married. We just had our 29th wedding anniversary. So 2 of my sons have long distance relationships with their girlfriends, and I can't say to them it will never work, because here we are, 29 years married. My husband is Jewish, and I am not. I did not grow up Jewish. So that was kind of a big thing for our wedding, was a movie like Two States I really related to, where it's not even so much a difference of religion, but a difference in culture clash between two families and trying to make a wedding work and trying to keep everybody happy. And we were both oldest children. It was the first wedding on both sides, and we had a rabbi and a minister, and it was a whole thing. We had to have it at a neutral location. My husband was attending University of Chicago Law School, so we had it in a ballroom at the university, because that way it wasn't a church and it wasn't a synagogue. It was someplace neutral. So that is my filmy love story. I don't know if that's filmy enough for you, but there you go. I think that's answering most of the questions. And if you have any other questions, please ask them in the comments below. And we'll do this again in the future, but this was a fun thing to do. Again, thank you to all my viewers who have stuck with me for the last year, and all you new ones too. Maybe we'll do something special again when we get close to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. Please like and share this video. Follow us on Twitter at Pardesi Youtube. Please subscribe if you're not already. I'm sure you already are if you're watching all the way to the end of this. And if you hit the bell, then you will get a notification whenever I have a new trailer reaction or film review.